Hi everyone! It's been a little while since we have spoke about reading in general other than hauling and unhauling. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of do a little what have been my favourite books of the year video, because I haven't really caught you up on the books I've been reading for a long time. I don't really give my opinions on the books, I just show you what I have. So I thought this would be the perfect time to kind of get a little bit back into it and talk about some books. So I'm going to do all the books I gave 5 stars to in 2019. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books here. Can't believe I didn't remember that. Anyways, but there's actually only really 4 entries to this list, since there are some that are in the same series, so I'm going to talk about them together. So, the first book that I have here, which I think was... No, it wasn't, I'm lying, it's not the first 5-star I gave this year. But anyways, moving on from that slight blip, is not surprising if you follow me on Goodreads and you'd followed me reading the previous books in this series. It's Obsidium, which is by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Could not remember that man's last name then, apologies. But yeah, this is the finale to a sci-fi series. I'm not sure how much you guys have kind of followed me over the years, but I am quite the sci-fi fan. I don't know what it is. Something about space just does it for me. I guess it's because it has that nostalgia of watching Star Trek with my mum, maybe, and Red Dwarf with my dad. Like, I've always kind of been into sci-fi. I liked watching those shows as a kid, and it's just always kind of been something that I've been interested in. Shame I was never really interested in it intellectually, but you know, here we are. Anyways, I'm going off topic. So I gave this book 5 stars because it was just a great overall experience, all 3 books, and the story just wrapped up in a way that I found very satisfying. I have found some of the characters more interesting than the others, but I think that's going to happen no matter what when you're reading books like this, where each one kind of introduces new perspectives. You're gonna gravitate towards new characters. Hopefully not to be too much of a spoiler, but if you don't know what these books are, I'm trying to get near the beginning so that I don't spoil a lot. Like, if there's just like a map, that would be cool. But these books basically don't read like just a standard novel. They're case files of evidence. Oh, it's not going to give me one, is it? I'm sure there's a map in here somewhere, because let's face it, there's not much in maps, surely. Nope, that's a spoiler. This is the 3rd one, and I'm not going to find one, and it's just going to stay awkward on camera, so sorry guys. Yay, a map! So, so like, it's basically all the evidence for what on earth happened up in space with these people. There was some dialogue there, which is in like a chat room style for a lot of it. There are some chapters that are basically just like a written novel, which are like when someone has watched over CCTV and then written it down. That's how you experience it as a reader. But overall, these are like not a normal reading experience, and I think that adds to how interested I was and how I just kept going through it. Not to spoil it too much, but I was very intrigued in reading the Aiden portions of all 3 novels. I don't know if that's a spoiler. I feel like that's a spoiler. I'm sorry if it is. Anyways, but yeah, I gave it 5 stars because I just whizzed through them, loved the sci-fi elements, was very intrigued to see each different file as it came along in the story. It all built upon each other. I grew attached to characters. 5 stars. Anyways, luckily this one's the first in a series, so I can't spoil it too much. And this one is a surprise 5-star read because I didn't really think I was going to be that bothered. Obviously I bought it because I was interested, but I wasn't excited for it like I was with, say, Obsidium, because I'd read the other 2 and things like that. And that is The Smoke Pheebs by Sally Green. I was really surprised by this, in a good way, obviously, 5 stars. But This is a fantasy set in a world where demons kind of just casually have certain areas that they live in, and it's a lot of political intrigue. I think that's why it surprised me so much. I was expecting like demon hunters, obviously, and like, you know, fantasy in a creature-esque kind of way, and what I got was a lot of political intrigue fantasy, and I seem to really gravitate towards royal characters. Catherine, I'm sure she's called, oh my god, please say, yes, she is called Princess Catherine. Oh, is my favourite. I'm obsessed with her. I could have read the whole book from her perspective and still given it 5 stars. I was whizzing through just to get to Catherine. Not anything against the other characters, but I was definitely more invested. Like, if I was in bed and I knew I was starting to get a little bit tired, but I saw the next chapter was Catherine, I was still reading the next chapter, and then I'd put the book down because I just couldn't get enough of her. I loved her so much, really gravitated towards anything that was told through Catherine's perspective, and if I knew that she was going to be involved in the other character's perspective, I was more likely to continue reading on then too. But I did enjoy every other character in this story as well. They were like bonuses with how obsessed I was with Catherine's story, and then I was like, oh yeah, Tash, I'm sure she's called Tash. Oh yes, Tash. Vicky, you're getting old. Anyways, but yeah, I was like, oh, Tash, that's nice, let's read about what she's getting up to. And then, you know, and I'd continue on, and another thing that I liked in this is that there was a gay character who very much knew he was gay and was just like, yeah, I'm gay. It wasn't like, taboo, it was just literally like, yeah, I fancy that dude. The end. Like, and I like that because usually, especially in like fantasy, it's like a secret and you can't get it out there. And like, for example, what Sarah J Maas did with Moore, and all of a sudden she was a lesbian. Spoiler alert, sorry. It's not that much of a spoiler, you'll still read the exact same experience knowing that. Anyways, everyone's read those books now, haven't they? But yeah, the character in this was just like, yeah, white men, what are you gonna do about it? And I was cool with that. And obviously there are different members of the cast that all joined together, and it was just so surprising how much I enjoyed this. I was expecting it to be like, you know, 3 or 4 stars, that's cool, fun. No, I was invested, and I'm ready for number 2, which I think comes out in the UK soon. If not, it already has, and I need to get my hands on it. But yeah, I'm ready. Next is, when I said there was multiple books in one series, I read 3 books, which I thought was a trilogy. Turns out there's a 4th one, but I'm not mad about it. And that is the Dark series by Kendall Blake. What series is this actually called? Who knows? But anyways, yes, so 3 Dark Crowns, 1 Dark Throne, 2 Dark Reigns, and then I have the next one, 5 Dark Fates, and I have the novella Queens of Fenburn, but I haven't read those 2 yet. Hopefully soon. Who knows with me? I go through phases of reading loads, and then I go through phases of not reading much, so who knows? But yeah, I love this series. Again, I'm obsessed with Catherine. I like Catherines apparently, which is weird because my sister is also called Catherine. And not saying we're not close, but you know, it's strange to think like, so because we're polar opposites, me and my sister, that someone who's so polar opposite to me has a name that I'm apparently obsessed with. Anyways, moving on. I just love all the worlds of the 3 different queens in this series, and I'm just really intrigued in the political setting again. Apparently I'm really into politics in my fantasy novels. I love the powers as well, obviously, like they're really interesting things, but it's the relationships and the intrigue of, ooh, is this person going to do this? More than, oh wow, this girl can poison people, or you know, things like that. I like fantasy, obviously. I don't want to read about the real world because would you want to? But I just love the weird political intrigues that are going on. That seems to be more my thing now as I'm getting older, which actually now I'm looking at book number 1 because I've put these, I should have said I put these in order of how much I liked them within 5 stars. But yeah, my most favourite 5-star read is also kind of political too. So yeah, apparently that's my thing now, political fantasies. It's probably why I love the Queen of the Tearling so much. Yeah, anyways, I'm getting off topic. This is all about 3 young girls who are triplets. They are queens. If they can kill each other off, they will get to be the queen and actually rule over the island they all live on. I'm on book 3, so obviously a lot has gone on. I don't want to spoil it, but I do really recommend it. I'm interested and I'm ready for the next couple of books. And yeah, the last one, again, I don't feel like anyone's going to be shocked when they know how much I loved the first 2 in this series. And this was actually the last book I read in 2019, so it might slightly be more positive in my mind just because I read it most recently. But I've been obsessed with this series for a while, so no one's surprised. And that is Bright We Burn, I nearly said And I Darken, by Kirsten White. And I Darken was the first one, and then Now I Rise was the second one. And this is the finale, and it's definitely the finale. Like, I'm not going to spoil it, obviously, but she ends the story. It ends. Like, we get everyone wrapped up, and we understand what all their lives are, and we're cool with it, right? Great. So, if more books come out in this series, they're going to have to be, like, somehow prequel novellas or something, because you can't continue on. Anyways, right. It's kind of spoilery, I guess. I've done basic spoilers in all of these, haven't I? Sorry, but this is again quite political. It's I was gonna say fantasy, but that's not really what it is. It's historical, and it's based around a girl named Lada and her brother Radu, who were the children of the prince of their country, and then the Ottoman Empire get involved with their father, and they end up having to go and live over there. Not too spoilery, I hope. I feel like that's the basic premise, but then obviously relationships build between siblings and people on the other side, and as you just follow them as they grow up through all of this political mess and find the ways that they believe to be correct for themselves, their country. And it's just so intriguing, and I just really followed these characters and cared. You follow the perspectives of both siblings, and I cared about both. Some people I've heard only really care about one. They kind of pick a side. I cared about both. I needed to know how they were both going to get on, and this is the kind of book that I would like to see made into a TV show, because I feel like it has some topics there that if we got to be a little bit more mainstream would be really positive for people to discuss and think about. I don't want to spoil things, but if you've read it, hopefully you're understanding what I'm getting across there. But yeah, this is my favourite book that I read in 2019. As you can tell, I read nothing that was released in 2019 because I'm so behind on my reading, because yeah, I've been a bit poop recently. And I actually realised that I've got worse at reading since getting the job, well, I guess the career I'm in now, because I work shifts and that messes with your sleeping pattern, which then messes with your reading habits. So I'm trying to build myself back up again. I've put my challenge at 40 books this year. It was 30 last year and I just made it. Like, I read this on like the 30th of January, something stupid. But yeah, so I'm trying to slowly get a little bit better at reading, trying to devote a bit more time. Not sure I've been super successful already at that, but I would like to get more reading in there. I'm currently reading Ringer, which is the sequel to Replica. So far it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it. Probably like it just as much as I did the first one. yeah, I think that's it. On the opposite end of things, I didn't talk about anything I rated poorly, and that's because I didn't rate anything less than 3 stars last year. So at least I know I'm picking books that I like and enjoy, even if they're not my favourites. I'm not angry at anything I've read. I'm not thinking, why the hell did I waste my money on this absolute piece of rubbish? Like, you know, when I bought the whole Fallen series like an absolute idiot because someone told me I'd like it, so I just bought them all before reading them. Yeah, we all make mistakes, okay. Anyways, yes, that's how I feel about my reading last year, and I'm hoping to improve this year. Tell me what your favourite book was that you read. Have you read any of these books? Did you like them as much as I did? Let's just chat about reading. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!